Well, hi there, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on Traveling with Jack and my heavenly wife, Pam. You may have noticed in the title where I said, I'm done. No, we're not done with the channel. However, I think I am done with grief messages and messages on grief. And let me explain why. And I do apologize if you're going to be disappointed. Some of you, though, are going to be thrilled. Keep in mind, you can go to our playlist and look at over 100 grief support messages that I've produced. Some are uplifting, some are not, some are real, just raw, so to speak. However, I've come to the decision that I'm going to stop doing grief messages because I've started receiving negative comments. Not a lot of them, but some. And in the social media world out there, you've got to have really thick skin. And I've said that I have thick skin. But the last few have just been, they've hurt. They really have. I got into one exchange, for example, with a gentleman about where he made a comment that I needed to move on. And I tended to lash out saying, you know, I don't believe in necessarily moving on. I believe in moving forward. Pam will always have a place in my heart. And then I made a little snippy comment like, well, how long has it been since you lost your wife? And maybe you could start your own YouTube channel to tell us how it's done. And then he snapped back and told me he'd lost his wife and a son. And then I felt, of course, terrible. And then I thought, why in the world are two people going back and forth against one another over a social media chat line box who know absolutely nothing about each other than what they've learned through a video and through some comments? That's a lousy way to get to know people. I don't know this person if they walked in my front yard tomorrow. They probably wouldn't know me if I walked in front of them in a shopping center, wherever they are as well. The point being, maybe if we'd not met on a social media channel like this, we could have well been friends and discussed our losses. But instead, when they came to hear my messages, they didn't necessarily find what they were looking for. And then in their comments, I didn't like what they said. And so it began, the back and forth, the back and forth. And I thought, this is just wrong. And they also implied that the only reason I was doing these messages was to make money off my loss of Pam, that I was trying to reinvent myself and revive my media career. Well, that hurt too. And I want each and every one of you to know that the point of this channel really wasn't to ever make money off of Pam's loss. The channel was started as a travel channel that Pam and I started. It was to help show people places and fun things to do and restaurants and cooking demos and things like that. And I kept the name because it was in her honor that I did these videos. I then started doing the grief videos and talking about my loss and things that I was going through because, yeah, it gave me some comfort to just kind of to air it out, so to speak. And this person pointed out, they said, well, I prefer to do it in private and not let the world know about it. And I thought, well, okay, I've been talking about it now for 3.5, almost 4 years, and maybe it is time that I shut up about it, at least in the public arena. And so that's kind of what I'm choosing to do now. Did I want to make money with the YouTube channel? Well, yeah, I'm not going to lie about that, but it wasn't at the expense of Pam. I truly hope that those of you out there who have been watching will believe that. But then again, maybe you won't because you don't know me. There's a few people out there who know me personally and watch, but the vast majority don't. Just like I don't know you, I don't know your circumstances. So I need to stop handing out any type of, I've never considered it advice, but handing out my stories of how I'm going through life. You know, Pam used to always say, when something ceases to be fulfilling anymore, stop doing it. And to some extent, doing messages on grief and loss is not fulfilling when I have people who are not happy with what they're hearing, and then we go back and forth. And again, it's a very, very small percentage. I realize that. Small, tiny percentage. The person also brought up how that I had done some videos on this guy in Sarasota. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get a big thing started there about how I was riding his coattails, and the reason he was so popular is because he had positive, uplifting messages, and that's what they were looking for. Well, that's where I get back to our travel videos, cooking videos, restaurant reviews. They're generally going to be happy and uplifting. So I want you to try and watch those. I do have the podcast, which is separate from YouTube, on grief and loss. I may continue to do some short messages there, but not that many, and it's not going to be a big part of anything anymore. We'll probably eventually just kind of let it play its course out. So again, I know that there'll be some people who are going to be disappointed to hear the news. I want you to know it's not because I don't care anymore, but it's just to keep civility in our little social media world out there, because, and that person, they probably won't see this video. They probably won't. And they probably will say, oh, he's faking. His feelings weren't hurt. He's a TV guy. But they're wrong. They really are. I think I've become much more sensitive in the years since I lost Pam. I have. Maybe my skin's not so thick anymore. And again, to that person and to anyone else whom we may have exchanged comments back and forth and things didn't stay as civil as they should, again, it's a very small percentage. I'm just telling you to forgive me. I ask you to forgive me. I'll forgive you too. That's what Christ taught us to be. And if you're looking for grief messages and things like that, trust me, there's a ton of them out there. You can do a search on YouTube. They'll pop up left and right. That may be what I need to do in the future when I need to see a message as well. Am I doing better after 3+ years? Yeah, I'm better in some senses, I am. Did I move on? No. I'm going to again defend that term. I've never liked the term moving on. There'll always be a hole in my heart, but I do learn to keep moving forward. And I know that moving forward and doing good for others, and eventually I'll reap my reward in heaven through my faith in Christ, and I'll walk the streets of gold and see all those that went before us, including Pam. So that's about it. Again, don't get down, anything like that. Traveling with Jack and Pam still going to be around with travel videos, cooking demos, restaurant reviews. And if you want to look at some grief support messages, go to the playlist. You just got to figure out how to find the playlist. There's over 100 messages there. I mean, my gosh, there's really not much else I have to say on the subject, okay? Hey, take care. And I'll keep saying this, though. Make it a great day. Better yet, a better tomorrow. Bye now. We'll see you out on the highways and byways.